Hello, friends, and welcome to my 17th virtual authors event. I'm hoping that I've got a balanced enough light here. It's such a dingy, overcast day today. It's tended to rain off and on all day. And so I've set up some lights and some reflectors, and we'll see if it turns out. Each month when I do an authors event, I try to think of what I will talk about next time. Well, today I thought I would talk about tools of my trade. That is writing. And the tools I use are certainly different than the tools other authors will use, but that's okay. I thought I'd let you know a little bit of the equipment that I would use in pursuit of creating my books. And I didn't bring my desktop computer out here because, well, and I didn't feel like bringing the lights and everything into the office. So that's where most of the writing happens. It happens in the office at my desktop, a Dell computer, and it runs Office 2013. I write in Microsoft Word. Now, there are times when I am expected to be away for a lengthy time, away from my machine, or I'm kind of pulled away for some reason that I know that I'm going to have a lot of dead time going to the farm and waiting for a repairman or something, Then I bring my trusty laptop for that. And since I have time, I will use this laptop. It's got years on it, not so many hours. It's got several hundred, but not so many hours. But it's a Microsoft Windows Vista, so you can get an idea that, yeah. Anyway, I have booted up a word processor, and this is, I don't know if you can see it real well or not, but anyway, this is the word processor. This is Microsoft Word, and I have a note written on here because sometimes I'll use the laptop to either edit when I will bring something from my desktop over to it with a flash drive, which I use all the time, flash drives. Or I will be writing a note. And this particular thing I have on the screen is a note I wrote in April 20th of 2021. I date the note when I write things like this so that I know what was my mindset was roughly when I was writing this and how I imagine it will fit into the revision that I'm working on now, because this will be inserted. And so I use this laptop for those kind of things. It's important also, I mentioned the flash drive. Every week, at the last 3-4 months, every week I put my work on a backup on this particular flash drive. And the thing is, it's like everything else. You're depending on the machine, and imagine if it would break down, or the hard drive would die or something, and the thousands and thousands of hours, because it's thousands of hours of work would be gone. Surely it's in my mind, I could all write it again, but these fingers are real clumsy, and they don't work that smoothly that quickly. So it's best to have a backup. And I had been making backups when I finished a part or draft. But I thought to myself, well, no, let's do a backup every week to keep things up to date. Then once a month or so, or when I finish a part, I use this little gem. This is a external hard drive, and I back it up there as well. My thoughts are it should be in 3 places. It's in the hard drive of my desktop, it's in this hard drive, and it's on this flash drive. So that's the way, those are the mostly the electronics that I use for writing. The other thing I use for electronically is my tablet. And what I use my tablet is, how I use my tablet is, I will email to myself. I will email to myself a copy of a section of the book that I'm working on that may be troubling me, or I want to read over, or something like that, that I can take it with me where I go, and I have it available so I can read through it and say, well, that works, that doesn't work, you know. So that's what the tablet is mostly used for, other than these author events, when I use it to transmit this video to the Wi-Fi at the library, which is much faster than the Wi-Fi here. So there are the things that every writer should use, and one of them is an ink pen or pencil or some writing instrument. I love gel pens, I do. And what, it's no good without paper, is it? So we have lined paper we sometimes use. I prefer scrap paper, printer paper. It's thicker. It doesn't have the lines on it, but that's fine. As terrible as I write, lines don't help. So I prefer this. A writer should carry or have a pen kind of handy anywhere they are, because suddenly you'll have an inspiration, and you'll need to write it down, because of course you're going to say, "Oh, I'll remember that," and inadvertently you don't. You see, I'm tilting my head because I got to see the screen on my phone, which is another tool I use, is a phone. I have to see the screen on the phone to see how I'm doing. And I shouldn't be worried about it, but I am. So we use paper, and sometimes a spiral bound notebook, and sometimes a ring binder. All right. The ring binder here has a copy of the first part of the book I'm working on. I read through it on paper, even though it costs a lot of pages. Did I print on both sides here? I don't even remember. No. Because moving it to a different format helps me catch the parts of it that would slip through when you read it on the screen, because your brain knows what's supposed to be there, and that may not be what's there. So if you move it into a different format, then you'll catch the errors more easily. But that's basically the tools that I use, except great big gobs of time. We're hoping that all these great big gobs of time will be worthwhile. And only the reader would know whether it was indeed worthwhile. I'm hoping that fan didn't cover up the sound here, folks. I don't know until I play it back. So that'll leave it for today. We're at a little over about 9.5 minutes. So I hope that it was somewhat informative. I'm also hoping that you enter summer. It's just beginning. Summer with great expectations. that your summer is going to be a wonderful time. COVID is slowly onsliding behind us for most of us. I'm vaccinated, so I can almost live normally. And so until next time, have a great weekend. And know that I'm working. I'm halfway through on this revision. It's been tough, but I've made it this far. I'll make it the rest of the way, God willing. Till next time, friends.